All right, guys, we're back. This is going to be round 5. We're going to go to the tables here. We have Bryan Manolakos and Jimmy Cooney. So I'm going to start up. And 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I think both players here are 4-0 at this point. So we're going to start seeing less of the spicy decks and more of the people in contention from here on out. The winner of this match should be safe to draw into the first or second seed since draws are allowed. And the loser may be able to draw, may have to play depending on the standings. And I know that at this event, Mike France didn't really show us the standings, so we kind of had to guess at what standings were when we went into the round 6. But that's what we're playing for here. Mano on the left playing a Just Guy Artifact Prison deck with Howling Mine, Relic Barrier, Icy Manipulator, Explosive Plowshares, Disenchant Lightning Bolt, some blue power stuff. But interesting, his sideboard's in to a more Just Guy burn list with Savannah Lion, Sarah Angel, Sarah Dibs, and some more Lightning Bolts and Psionic Blasts.
Yeah, you got me good with that one.
Yeah. On the right, Jimmy playing Blue-Red Merfolk Burn. This is kind of his pet deck. It's, 4 Merfolk and Pearl Trident, 4 River Merfolk, 4 Lord of Atlantis. Looks like 10 or so burn spells, plus 2 Disintegrates, 4 Serendib Efreet, and just some blue and red power. No real spice other than 2 Blood Moons made. Everything else is just burn or card draw. So
Yep.
we'll see who comes out on top here.
All right. I think Mano's keeping. Jimmy is keeping as well. He shows us something which we didn't see. Mano's got a miscut card.
Yeah, they like to show us their card. Yeah, he's got that. I guess that's a Howling Mine / Demonic Attorney
Yeah.
split card he had. So yeah, Mano's deck's pretty interesting in the game 1 configuration. His win condition is really just
Fireball.
4 factories and a fireball,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess a brain geyser if he really has to win that way. So otherwise, not a lot of win conditions. Oh. Turn 1 Lotus for Mano, Howling Mine and Time Walk. That's ideal.
That's pretty good.
Let's see if he has a Relic Barrier here to follow that up.
No. All right, just a Felwar. Still not bad.
Yeah. So passing with Howling Mine against the burn deck's not exactly where you want to be. So, Merfolk with the Pearl Trident. Oh, it looks like I missed the Ancestral Recall from Jimmy.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Turn 1. Ooh, he's got his own Time Walk, which yeah,
oh wow, so they're fully
really taking
advantage. Yeah.
Let me tell you about some Howling Mines and extra turns. Maybe you'll get to that later.
Yeah. You might have some experience with that. So let's see if this Merfolk with the Pearl Trident is actually good. Ideally, he'd want to play a
what he really
Lord
wants
here.
to have here is either a Lord of Atlantis or a Serendib. It looks like he's got no Lord of Atlantis, so he needs another creature, whether that's River Merfolk or Serendib. I don't think he can afford to just Psionic Blast here. Blood Moon's interesting, though.
Bryan still has
Blood
blue,
Moon, though, yeah, has the basic island, but Mano has the Felwar Stone. Oh, Jimmy has to discard, so that's kind of where he was thinking about. And so much of Mano's deck is artifacts, but he still didn't have a third land there. Both players missing land drops.
I wonder if he knew what he was on. I'm sure he did, right? I don't know. And how good is Blood Moon versus... I'm just looking at his deck here.
I guess
it's
good.
decent.
There's no basics.
Yeah.
Gets rid of his red cards and artifacts. The game 1, I'm not sure it's going to be the best.
Shuts off his swords.
Yeah, Jimmy tried to play a Merfolk with Pearl Trident off a mountain, but Mano caught that.
Yeah.
Not letting him get away with that.
Oh, okay, so Mano does have the option to set it back. Why?
Yeah, he's going to copy it. Probably take out a Merfolk here. And yeah, because Jimmy can't...
was that a
can't
mistake
copy it
there?
either. That's kind of a...
I feel like
Misplay
that
there on Jimmy's
might have been
part.
that might have been a misplay.
At the end of the day, though, he did deal 3 to Mano, and okay, there's a icy. So he
Still,
is.
you don't want to, you don't want to give him the
Looks like
option.
Mano's down to 14, maybe.
Yeah, 14.
Oh yeah, there's a dice. I was trying to read Jimmy's life total. 13.
So there's not that much
This is.
early pressure here. He's drawing all of his his 1/1 merfolks, but nothing else.
He has no second blue either, so if he draws any River Merfolk or Lord of Atlantis from here, he can't cast them. So the Bloodman might be hurting him more than it's hurting Nano at this point. Nano does have, I think, is it 1 or 2 Ivory Towers in the main? Just the 1 Ivory Towers. But if he finds the Ivory Tower, that could probably be game over. Um,
Yeah.
and he's got the Mox Pearl, which turns on all of his disenchants and Source of Posture. So we'll see how he just chooses to play it. He's got the Relic Barrier for the Howling Mine. Now it's just
Yeah, I like where
one-sided
Brian's
draw
right.
2.
I like where Brian's at right now.
And he's got the Icy to stop Merfolk beats. So he's probably going to take 1 here, go to 12, which puts him in range. 12's kind of different than 13, and that you're 4 bolts away instead of 5. But I think he's got time. Oh,
He does have the divine
balance.
off.
That's not divine offering. That is balance, and that's going to take out both merfolks and do some equalization on the cards in hand.
I think he has 4.
The lands look the same, so and he's going to tap the island, I'm assuming here, to really kind of lock Jimmy out of blue spells. But he's going to Psionic Blast in response. It's going to go down to 9, so 3 bolt range still. See if Jimmy can find 3 more bolts. He's got 4 bolts, 2 chains left in his deck, plus some disintegrates. So
Brian does have a divine offering he can use in a pinch.
oh yeah, Divine Offering on the Icy would probably swing the thing. And if he ever wants to use his counter spells, he can disenchant the Blood Moon if he has that. So another side blast.
Okay. So down to 5.
Doesn't really change the clock. Devastating upkeep, sir. Yeah. Jimmy trying to get one by. Man, that's too observant.
Well, let's see. Oh, a lot of red. I'm surprised he doesn't have that much burn here.
Yeah.
Probably got a lot of blue
I
cards.
really
wonder
kind
if
of think
he's
this Blood Moon
Yeah,
backfired.
yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me here. Because it's not like he has a lot of counter spells. It's just got to be Serendibs or River Merfolks or Lord of Atlantis that he just hasn't been able to cast. Alright, so copied the Relic Barrier and played a second Howling Mine. So now Mano's drawing 3 cards to 1 every turn. And locking down the blue. So Jimmy can't play Time Twister if he has that.
How many islands does he run? He runs 1, 2, 3,
He runs
5?
5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, there's Disintegrate for 5 though.
Wow.
Didn't have the Divine Offering, I guess. So there's only the 1 Divine Offering made. So going to sideboard, this is where Mano's deck gets really interesting. So he's got 3 Sarah Angels, 4 Savannah Lion, 4 Serendib Efreet in the sideboard to go with 2 extra Lightning Bolts and 2 Psionic Blasts. So he's probably going to board out Relic Barriers, Howling Mines, maybe a couple Ices for these 15 cards. Maybe some counter spells even, depending on... he also has an Abyss that he'll probably cut to bring in these creatures. And I'm not sure...
I'm not sure if this deck is better than... I'm asking myself, is his transformational deck better against Jimmy's deck than the deck he just played?
I definitely think it's better than Jimmy's deck in Game 2, when Jimmy's going to bring in his anti-artifact packages. So Jimmy's going to bring in 2 Shatters, 3 Artifact Blasts, and probably an Energy Flux.
Okay.
to combat the artifacts, and there won't be any of that on Mano's side. So
So game
I think for
3 gets
game two,
interesting.
but then game three, it's interesting is Mano going to go back to the artifacts or not?
Yeah.
Um, and
I think that depends on
you
how
know,
much he
I drove with him to
shows.
this tournament, and after the tournament, we talked about it. Like, was he supposed to do it? You know, what is he supposed to do? Because it's actually pretty close against this Merfolk list. Because
Hmm.
it's not like their anti-artifact is that strong, and if you kind of put the pressure on him, but at the same time, you don't really want to be putting Howling Mines in your deck against the burn deck. So I'm not sure where he wants to be for game three, but we'll see how if he can win game two to even get there. So
And again, that's assuming that he shows him, like, if this is not a blowout, and Mano does get to show him that, oh, I have lions, I have dibs now. Haha, I got you. Now you get in his head, and now you can switch it up. I mean, does the deck work with 3 Howling Mines? Does it work with? Is that just like not making the deck? I guess you might
yeah,
not, because you don't want a Howling Mine without a Relic Barrier, right? So
right, and you mean Ice Manipulator is probably the only of those cards that's like good on its own,
yeah,
and it's still kind of clunky against the burn deck because it costs 4.
yeah.
Um, so if you want to be more efficient, I think it makes sense to not play those artifacts. Um, but I think Mano didn't show up to play not transform type boards. I think he wants to win, but he also wants to feel clever. And
Okay, so
if he
Jimmy.
loses, but he was clever, that's still a win in his book.
Okay, so if you're Jimmy and you don't know he's transformational, you're putting in relic barriers. I mean, you're putting in energy flux, shatters, artifact blast.
Artifact blast,
Yeah, all
yeah,
three.
definitely want artifact blast.
So many.
It's so many, but it is really cheap, and he does have a lot of red mana laying around. So
And
if he can
what do
keep the
you
red
take
mana up,
out? That's like so many cards. 1, 2, 3,
I
4, 5,
think
6 cards.
I think it's possible you don't want Blood Moon in this matchup.
All right, that's
Um,
2.
especially if you think he's on all these artifacts, because he's going to be able to draw more cards than you. They're colorless. Eventually, he'll be able to deal with it. You want to be able to pressure him as fast as possible with your double blue spell. So I would say probably Blood Moon,
Chain lightning.
maybe Chain Lightning, because he didn't show any cheap creatures you want to kill. You'd rather play a Merfolk than a Chain Lightning. So maybe that. So that's 5. You just need one more cut. Maybe that's a Sonic Blast or a Time Twister if you think you don't want to draw 7, or it could be even a land, or like a Serendib or Merfolk of Pearl Trident. So,
Okay. Looks like Manos keeping. Looks like he kept a Disintegrate, Psyblast, Bolt, Island, and something else.
I definitely saw a Blood Moon in there. So he didn't decide to
He
cut
did?
those,
Okay.
but it didn't look like there's a Blood Moon there. So, Pearl and a Volcanic for Mano.
No lion.
But notably no Howling Mine or Relic Barrier. And so now,
He's probably like,
here's-
oh,
did you bring in
okay.
Red Blast? You got Red Blast, Jimmy? Probably not. You didn't really, see any like actual blue spells game one other than copy artifacts. So this Farondib might do the full 21.
Okay, he wants to play that, yeah.
He's got to play a double blue guy. It's imperative that he gets those things out into play as soon as possible because they just constrain his mana while they're in his hand.
Is that another?
No,
I think that's another
second
Sarandib, yeah.
Yeah. Not exactly sure what altar this is, but
I mean, if Jimmy has another creature of some sort, I don't like. I
so
don't.
if
I
he had
don't
a
dislike.
Lord of Atlantis, like
Yeah, I don't.
if he has 2 Lord of Atlantis here,
I
the
don't
race is
hate
pretty
his board
interesting.
state. Yeah, because the Mountain Walk
Yeah.
is super relevant here.
Right, right. And if he had Island Walk, it would, double Island Walk.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. So even if he has another River Merfolk, something, you could still race. Okay, he's gonna blast.
I like blasting. You can't afford to race 2 Serendibs, even if you are the burn deck.
Wow, 3.
Oh, geez. Wow. Yeah, really, really got you by surprise here. Not much you can do if you're not going to see that. And you only have the three blasts in your deck to deal with it if you didn't bring in Reb.
It's so funny.
So,
Like Brian's like not he missed his land drop too, and he's like he wouldn't have been able to cast the ices anyway. Like
mhm.
I wonder if he goes down on land. Does he? Probably not.
I can't imagine going down land
No.
when you're bringing in Sarah Angel.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know?
That's true. All right, so
Yeah. You're going to kind of bluff a bolt
faking
here,
bolt.
but not giving your guy Mountain Walk, so that definitely means bolt. So you have to kind of block the River Merfolk here, or you could just take it. So I think those are your options. Besides the block the factory,
Yeah, I think trading for a factory is fine. He's got to show.
I
the
would rather
bolt.
trade for the River Merfolk because it's something you can't really block later on. But at the same time, if Jimmy's missing land drops, maybe it's better to take away his mana than the more potent threat later on. Okay, so
Yeah, I think Brian's
got,
full on the race. Oh, and he's got the ivory tower.
he's got Ivory Tower, but he did play. It looks like he's only got 4 in hand, and he did play a 4th land there. So I don't think it's going to do anything.
I think he might just have 3. Well, anyway, he's below tower.
Could have Ancestral here, though. That would be. It's also good insurance against any draw 7 that Jimmy could have. 'Cause that's one of the better ways for Jimmy to get out of this is like Time Twister Wheel of Fortune to kind of reload and find answers to Serendib.
True.
Stabilize.
Yeah.
So I think Jimmy's at 11 here.
So they're both at 11. Okay, so now he plays the Blood Moon.
Blood Moon. This time he has 2 islands, though, so it's not going to hurt him as much as it did game 1. We'll take the attack down to 8.
I mean, I don't hate Jimmy's position here.
No, he's got him down to 7.
Oh, yeah, this is...
Or
Okay.
8. The 8. So, unless he gets burned out... Yeah, he's just a bolt away from winning. Because Mano just now reached... Oh, but Mano has the bolt to finish the game off, I believe.
Oh, but...
Yeah,
Oh, Jimmy had
yeah,
it,
that
though.
was a race that Mano ended up winning, so...
Oh, okay. All right, so now Mano has shown him his transformation. Does he go back? Does he stay with the line dip bolt plan?
I don't think you can go back to the... I mean, just because you lost game 1. I think if you had won game 1 and then somehow lost the second game with the transformation, then I think you can consider it. But Howling Mine against this deck, against the burn
It's
deck,
too
it's
bad.
just is not what you want. So I think you got to hope that Savannah Lions and Sarah Angel and Serendids are going to be enough. And that's the other thing is, like, once somebody's ready for Serendids, it becomes a lot worse. You know, I don't know if Jimmy... I mean, I know Jimmy doesn't have City in a Bottle, since he has his own Serendids and City of Brass, but he could have that. He's probably going to bring in Red Elemental Blast now.
Yeah,
so
he just did. I saw
really,
him.
the matchup's getting a lot worse for you, and there's really no way for Mano to improve it. This is kind of my complaint about transformational sideboards in old school, is that there's really no way to improve once they know. And you really have to be able to go back and forth. You know, when I you know, in the Time Vault deck that I played, and I have the 4 Urnham Djinns in the sideboard, it's effectively a transformational sideboard, but it's only 4 cards, so you don't have to do it. You can go back and forth, and you can also, like, not play all of them. You can keep as much or as little of the combo in as you want, and still have those Urnhams in to represent the extra angle of attack. So the full transformational board, a lot harder to modify your plan in the moment.
Right.
It's definitely possible that he could say, actually, I don't want Serendib here, and I don't want Psionic Blast. Maybe I'm just going to bring in Lions, Terras, and extra Lightning Bolts and cut Howling My Relic Barrier.
And
So
just
I'll
go with
still
the
have
ices.
these icy. Definitely, if you had more disenchants, that would make some sense too. Or I mean, sorry, more divine offerings. Um, but he, that's something that you'd want a lot more experience in the matchup than I think Mano has. I don't think Mano's played a lot against blue red Merfolk. I think a lot of people play against blue red Merfolk. I don't think Mano's played a lot with this deck, to be honest, right? This is kind of where when you come to these tournaments and you don't do a lot of playtesting, because no one wants to actually playtest for old school events. You kind of just want to show up, play the deck you want to play, and if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But
I like playtesting.
if you had, I like playtesting too. But you could have a much better flexible plan if you had done some testing. So, all right, here we go. Well, turn one chain from Jimmy, and then a river merfolk. So
And no colored mana over on Mano's side. Okay, here we go. So Serendip? Yeah.
yeah.
So if he plays another
Jimmy,
island, oh no, he doesn't.
Jimmy can give Mountain Walk here, but Sonic Blast does make sense.
What does he have in his hand? If he had a bolt or something, I probably would have just held on to it. Alright, I guess it's meaningless now. He's got another one.
Yeah. That's where you can get in trouble is if you start holding stuff and then they play a second Serendip and now you're really far behind. But ooh, wow, this is quite a draw from Jimmy. Answers for the first two Serendips and has his own Serendip. He also has that factory sitting back, so Mano can no longer afford to try and play a tempo game here. He's going to have to answer some of these threats, and whether that's with is that a balance he's got, or is it...
Something white and blue, yeah.
Yeah. Once again, balance. Balance, one of the cards that I did not see as much balances in play as I thought, given that there was no Mind Twist around. I thought balance would have been much more prevalent, but...
Did he discard a Howling Mine?
It looks like he
might
have
is it
discarded...
Savannah Lion? Oh, it's a miscut Savannah
Lion. That's the Savannah Lion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the Savannah Lion, a mana drain, and a counter spell.
Okay.
And so now, what's Jimmy going to do here? He's got a Serendip.
So many dibs.
What mana to hold on to? Alright, he down to Sonic Blast. Mano's down to 11. And Jimmy, I think, hasn't taken any, but Mano does have the Bolt. So now Mano's got factory advantage. See if he can ride that to victory.
You got it? No, doesn't have it. Wow, there's a lot of haymakers in this match. Just threats and answers.
Alright. Yeah, it looks like Jimmy's down to like 16. There's a time lock.
It's gonna get
countered. That's
countered.
gonna get red. Serendip for Jimmy.
Another side blast?
Another side blast?
I guess you have to. It's annoying. He's going to take one. So he's at 8. Both players are
12.
Yeah, both players are top deck mode.
Cycle a time walk.
I mean, Sarah here would be amazing.
Sarah would be ideal, but even a Savannah Alliance is pretty good here. Factory's good. Ooh, a Blood Moon. Let's see if Mano has a disenchant. No.
So Jimmy's does not have any white.
Ooh, Ancestral Recall.
Oh, man. Oh, and Lotus. Oh, my goodness. Sarah, yeah. Oh, man, yeah.
And
this is good.
He's clapping his hands here, saying, "Go, go, your turn, your turn." Let's
Jimmy
see.
has
Let's
no
see what
blue.
happens. What's Jimmy got? Has he got an answer to this, Sarah? Oh, wow. Fourth mana, or the fifth mana for the Disintegrate. Yeah. Arguing about where they can put this factory. Even though it's a mountain, Mana wants it out there as a threat. He's not going to attack with it. He just
Don't
wants you
touch
to know that it's there.
don't touch my cards, bro.
He still hasn't used
All right,
the
so he's
Chaos
gonna go to
Orb.
the
Oh,
Chaos
here
Orb.
goes. Here
Okay.
goes. Let's see how this goes.
All right, this is probably gonna. Ooh, wow.
Ooh.
That was
I watched
really
that in
bad.
real time, and that was probably one of the worst orb flips I've ever seen.
Wow, that was really
You know,
bad.
this is one of the things when you get under the lights and the pressure, your hands get a little sweaty,
You get a little
you
sweaty.
get a little sticky, and
You gotta do
just,
it. You gotta
it
do a
just kind of
couple.
sticks to your fingers. And there's another factory that would have probably turned this game around.
I mean,
and
Mano's on full tilt now. Wait, how did he play that Lord of Atlantis?
there's a Black Lotus there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He used the Black Lotus to put the Lord into play, but
2 red.
there's another Serendib.
How did he play
But
the
I
Serendip?
think the Sapphire.
Oh, Sapphire. Okay. He's hiding in his.
So Mano's at 6. It looks like. I think Jimmy's
Oh man,
still
he's
at 14.
slumping in his chair. He's a little tilted right now.
You miss an orb flip, you're gonna be tilted no matter what's at stake. And
It's like-
when the stakes
you're
are
gonna-
that high,
you're gonna-
it's gonna be even more tilted.
You're gonna do like at least another 2.5 more mistakes. It's the same
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Does he have any islands? He has no islands. So we're just sitting here taking dib damage.
Yeah, he can't afford to race because he's at 5 now. So any bolt kills him, and I think Jimmy's just still at 12. So that's not a race you can win.
Oh, this is not looking good.
Counting the mana.
Is he thinking
Don't know what
about
he's looking
disintegrate
for.
here? Maybe he thinks there's a power sink or.
Oh, what I think he's thinking about is chain lightning and how many times he can get copied back.
Oh, okay.
And 'cause he doesn't
So it
want
looks
to.
like
He
he
doesn't want to
can-
somehow throw this game away.
So it looks like he
So
can
I
do it
think he's
3
gonna wait.
times.
I think he's gonna wait till Mano's at 3 instead of trying to kill him. Because Mano's at 5, so if he goes to 4, the chain lightning will then kill Mano's upkeep with the Serendib. But Mano can only copy the chain once. You don't have to copy it back a second time. So,
Right, that's true.
Yeah, I think you probably should have just fired it off there because Mano can't afford to copy it because you just kill him. So,
Yeah, you just
still, is he gonna cast chain lightning this turn?
you cast it now.
He's still counting the number of red. Can he figure out how chain lightning works?
We say this half kidding. We know, again, it's stressful, so you want to be extra careful.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose
All right.
on a
Mano
stupid
down to 3
mistake.
now. Yeah. When you're playing for a locked spot in the top 8,
You want to
wanna
double check
get
everything.
it right. Yeah.
So nothing against Jimmy here.
Yeah. No, for sure. Let's see if he's
I
gonna.
mean, now he's got to do it, right?
Well, yeah, now would be the time to do it, unless you're just never gonna cast it because you're that scared about what it could be on the backswing. Which
Or
is
maybe
reasonable.
he doesn't even have it. maybe he doesn't even-
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe
No,
was
he
just
does, he
bluffing.
does,
Oh,
okay.
but there it is.
There it is.
There's the chain lightning.
All right.
And
yeah.
he's not cast it yet, though.
No, he did. Okay.
All right.
that's game.
He had to get clarification on how it worked. Wow.
Good,
So yeah,
good
there.
game.
That was an orb flip miss that kind of shook the tournament when we were there. I know at the same time.
I mean,
same
Jimmy was still
round.
at 12 life. He played the Lord after that. It wasn't.
Yeah, Mano immediately drew that second factory, so it would have been 2 factories against the Lord. I think Mano's pretty favored there.
Yeah.
But
But all right.
this is the same round that Will McGran missed an orb flip to lose his match, and then in the following round, my opponent lost an orb flip in our match. So a lot of talk about missed orb flips and how do we feel about it, or at least this is what Mano was ranting about later on in the day. Is like, are we okay with missed orb flips deciding events? And I said, hell yeah,
Yeah, that's what we're
this
here
is what we're
for.
here for. This is you're feeling something. Normally you make those
You
flips,
you
and when you
have
feel that
to.
pressure and you miss,
You got to do a
that's what you're
couple
here for.
before you start. Just do a couple just to get the juices flowing.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
warm up a little bit. But I'm totally
yeah.
for it. I think miss orb flips should be part of the game.
It just really adds to the drama too.
Yeah,
And yeah, if you hit every orb flip, it wouldn't be that interesting.
I think he's getting comfortable. I think honestly, because when we played, he asked me, he's like, "You want to flip?" Like he activated his orb, and he put it on me. He said, "Hey, do you want a gentleman's flip or do you want?" And I'm like, "What am I? I'm not gonna be that guy." I'm like, "No, you
Yeah,
have to
he's
flip it."
taking advantage of the kindness of your heart there.
He
I
took
know I've known
advantage.
Mano. He always wants to do gentleman's orb
So
flips,
then I'm
and
like,
I don't
"Okay,
know if that's
fine." So maybe
I
he's
don't know
too
if that's a
used to
coping
it. I don't know.
mechanism. Yeah.
No, but
Either that, or he's just worried about his orb flipping skills, and he needs to go back into the lab and practice more.
yeah.
Maybe change his technique. You need something that can work when your hands are sweaty.
But let's see. All right, we're gonna take a break,
So
and
yeah,
yeah, it was a good match
so
though. It was a good match.
Jimmy's now in the top 8. He's 5-0, so he can draw in the top 8. And Mano is 4-1.
He's in the
He
running.
will either have to play or draw in the next round to see if they'll make it in the top 8. But
Awesome.
you might see those two again.
Yeah. All right, we will be back shortly.